are all weirdos.
Weird science is the revolution. Weird science is the revolution.
Hello, everybody, and welcome back to the Weird Science Comics YouTube channel, where I'm going to be reviewing Red Goblin number 3. Red Goblin number 3 is written by Alex Paknadal with art by Jan Balzaduea, colors by David Coriel, and VC's Joe Caramagna on letters. While I feel silly saying normie so much when reviewing this book, I have liked this Red Goblin series so far. Alex Paknadal is not only showing us the burgeoning relationship of Normie and his symbiote Rascal, but to me this book is giving readers a more realistic view of a Norman Osborn who wants to do better but can't escape his sins of the past, and I'm sorry about that one. The play here is that Normie can't escape them either, and by the end I hope they can each help each other out and become better in their own way. So let's see if Normie can save his hurt grandfather from the clutches of Phil Urich and the Goblin Nation right after I ask you to subscribe to the channel, like the video, enable the notifications, and tell me what you think of Red Goblin in the comments below. But let's hit the recap right now. As if Normie's life weren't complicated enough, he's caring for a fledgling symbiote called Rascal. Although Normie is wary of bonding with the bloodthirsty Rascal, the two are becoming increasingly attached as Normie uses Rascal's abilities to engage in superheroics. Meanwhile, beneath the streets, the Goblin Nation is on the rise, led by Phil Urich, a.k.a. the Goblin King, who's back from the dead and seeking revenge against the person who killed him, Norman Osborn. The Goblin King kidnapped Norman and used his blood to reverse engineer a goblin formula for him and his followers. Normie and Rascal embarked on a mission to save Norman, and now a souped-up Goblin Nation stands between them and the exit. To get out alive, Normie might have to unleash the full power of the terrifying Red Goblin. Now, is he going to do that? Well, let's see. The issue opens with a flashback to show that a couple years ago, Norman Osborn wasn't the type of guy to give you the shirt off his back or even his third shoe. He's kind of a piece of crap, and he's trying to teach Normie how to be a piece of crap. And I got the point here, but I also realized that I'm definitely one of the people that Normie should avoid, according to Norman. Norman is pretty much telling Normie to avoid me, and maybe that's why I got confused about that whole third shoe thing. I don't know what it means. I don't have 3 shoes. When they get back to the awful present, Normie and Rascal are desperately trying to save Norman while also trying not to get beat up by the Goblin Nation toughs. Things would be a lot easier, though, if Rascal was allowed to cut loose, but Normie still won't allow it. He doesn't want to go bad. He's afraid that Rascal will go bad, and then that will make Normie himself become bad. Now, almost the entire first half of this issue felt a bit been there, done that, following the pattern pretty much that we had in the last issue. But then we jump into Normie's brain, and at least it changes things up a bit. And while it's very easy to see what Paknadal is doing with Normie and Rascal here, I liked it. The interactions between the two have been the highlight of the series so far. And in a book like this, that really is a priority. So seeing the two come to an agreement and also a bit of an epiphany for Normie was pretty cool. Now, the epiphany makes you a little bit sad because what Normie realizes is he's been afraid that Rascal will pretty much corrupt him. If we bond, oh my God, Rascal's bad, I'll become bad. Realizes that he's kind of the one who's bad. But saying that, it's not really a shock. It's not a shock when we find this out. And one of the things is when Normie figures it out, you can start working on that. And what I hope is, as we go through the series, you end up having a Norman Osborn who's trying to be better, and I hope that he can give that as a good example for his grandson, Normie. He wasn't doing it in the past, talking about those third shoes or anything, but now I think he could actually be a good influence on him if that is allowed. Now, the Goblin Nation seemed a bit shocked, though. And while I thought we might get a whole new-looking Red Goblin, we get a pretty kick-ass kind of version 2.0. It just seems a little more badass. Actually seems, though, to intrigue and delight Phil Urich more than I thought it would. Normie grabs his grandfather, gets the hell out of Dodge, and takes him to a nearby hospital, thus saving his life. Now, the issue continues with Liz Allen flexing a bit in the scene that felt forced to show how badass she can be, and also to bring up the name Timothy Anders. If you remember, that was the classmate of Normie that got involved with fighting those bullies and whatnot, but that name is brought up. It will make more sense why by the end. The issue slows down by the end, though, to give a life lesson to the reader and little Normie, a lady who really could use one of those Osborne third shoes right now, tells Normie that there are no bad dogs, just bad owners. I think we're supposed to be thinking of Normie and Rascal here. I don't know, I'm a dummy, but yeah, I think that's what's going on. The issue then ends with the Goblin Nation wanting to juice up even more than Barry Bonds, and Phil Urich has a name of somebody who may lead them to Normie, Rascal, and all of that. And of course, that name is Timothy Anders. This is a pretty good issue overall. The art was good, and I really am enjoying the Normie-Rascal relationship, and I'm enjoying watching Normie right here kind of grow up and grow into this whole symbiote deal in a way that we don't get to see too much. Normie is doing this with some smarts. He's a little wary of doing it, but he wants to do good. And then he ends up having to do some things because he has to save his grandfather. But I like that whole bit with Normie and Rascal and Normie trying to control not only just Rascal, but himself by the end. I think that's been done very well by Alex Pagnadal. And I still like the first issue of the series the best, but this one is at least as good as the last issue. But of course, I can't remember what I gave the last issue, and I'm way too lazy to check right now. So I'm just going to go, and somebody can check me on this. Maybe, you can see. But this really does feel like another 7 out of 10, maybe. I hope that's what I gave the last one. But yeah, this is a 7 out of 10. Somebody can check me on that. And I hope that people continue to read and enjoy this book. I'm all here. Yeah, I still feel silly saying Normie so many times. Even in my notes as I'm going through this, I wrote Normie instead of Norman. It almost tripped me up. Probably noticed that. But hey, here we are. Here we are enjoying books, and I do like this. So with that, though, please subscribe to the channel, like the video, enable all that. But yeah, really let me know what you think of Red Goblin number 3, the whole thing in general. I don't know how many people are reading this. I don't have that many people talking to me about it, but for me, it's one of the books that I enjoy. So I hope that everybody else will give it a shot. But all of that, we're done. Thank you, everybody, and I'll talk to you all later.
You are all weirdos.
Weird science is the revolution. Weird science is the revolution.